All right. So I was asked in the comments if I have any Prot Warrior macros. I do. I have a 1 button for AoE tanking. It's essentially the same thing as my other 1 buttons. It's a 4 action bar swap. It does Thunderclap Cleave with Shield Slam, Revenge, and Whirlwind. Now the reason why I have Whirlwind in here is because you can use this with Gladiator Stance. But if you do use this with Gladiator Stance, I would remove Revenge from the macro or from your bar, just because hitting Revenge in Gladiator Stance is kind of a DPS loss. So, and then on top of that, I also use I have a cast sequence cooldown opener, because just like warrior DPS as a warrior, you want to front load all of your strongest damage cooldowns in the opener as a Prot warrior. You want to front load everything. So essentially what this macro does is you have to be in Berserker stance before you use this. So it uses Recklessness, Defensive Stance, your Trinket slot, which should be either Chalice or your Diamond Flask. Mainly Diamond Flask, because Diamond Flask is the best trinket for Warrior. And then it uses Rampage and Shield Slam. Now the reason why it uses Rampage, because this phase we have access to the Zandalar set. Now, the Zandalar set for Warrior is actually really, really good. I don't think this is going to be replaced for the rest of SOD unless they somehow come up with the same kind of features for the set bonus. But so in order to have this set, you have to be Exalted to get the neck. Now, you can run the other 3 pieces, but sadly, you won't be able to use these other 3 pieces in combination with your Tier 2 Draconic. So you're going to want to get the neck. This allows you to use it with your Draconic set. So once you get Exalted, you can use the neck piece, and then you would want to run the chest and then the belt, because most likely you'll have your bracers of Draconic just because you can buy them with reels. Now, the neck piece reduces the rage cost of your Shield Slam by 5. Now, in combination with the rune Focus Rage, this brings your Shield Slam down to 12 rage, which is pretty good. And then the set bonus, the 3-piece set bonus, reduces the cooldown of your Shield Slam by 2 seconds. This brings your Shield Slam to 4 seconds. Now, if you remember before, I brought up why you run Rampage on your wrists. It's because if you were to run Sword and Board, you only cast 2 Sunders in between every global of your Shield Slam. So that's not really that valued in damage and threat. The Rampage for 30 seconds is much more valued for threat and damage, just because the bosses in BWL are very, very short. So this was going to be out for a majority of the fight, like 60 to 70% of the fight, which is a lot more damage and a lot more threat. Now, for your Draconic pieces, you just want to fill out the rest of the pieces that you would not run. So with the Zandalar set, you run the chest, the belt, the neck, and then for your Draconic set, you run the boots, the gloves, the helm, the legs, the shoulders, and then the bracers. Now, the Draconic tanking set is kind of interesting. Overall, it has a lot more stats than the T1 set. And it has an interesting set bonus. Now, the 2-piece adds 10 rage every time you parry. This is pretty good. It's really only good when you're tanking a lot of mobs. The 4-piece makes Revenge give you a flurry proc. Essentially, it's 30% attack speed for 3 swings. Now, this is pretty good, but it's like, I wish it was a duration instead of 3 swings. Now, because you're tanking, you gain access to parry hasting, which means essentially when you're waiting for your next auto attack to go off, if you parry an attack, your auto attack will just finish and immediately fire. Now, in combination with Wind Fury, you're going to be swinging pretty fast with your main-handed weapon. And if you have a fast main-handed weapon like Thunder Fury, you're going to be swinging. These 3 swings are going to be gone in probably the first like 2 to 3 seconds, if you can even keep them that long. So it would be kind of nice if this was a duration instead of a stack, but it is what it is. And then the 6-piece is really cool. It adds an attack. It adds a retaliation effect. So when you when your target parries an attack, you instantly retaliate for 200% weapon damage. This is really good, but sadly, it's only on parries. It's not on dodges. So if the boss dodges your opener, then this 6-piece doesn't fire. I think Blizzard like completely misbuilt this set, but it is what it is. I don't design the sets. It would be cool if it was parry and dodge, but it's only parry. It's still really good. The Draconic set is still better than the Might set. So, again, you would run the Zandalar 3-piece in combination with the 6-piece Draconic. Now, I'm just going to give you a little demonstration on how you would want to do an opener on a boss. Now, so on the opener, you would want to start in a Berserk stance and then cast a cast sequence like I have here. I'll have this all in the description if you want to copy it. So you would use Recklessness Defensive Stance and then pop your Trinket, go into Rampage, and then start Shield Slam. You could also add in a Rage Pot here if you wanted. I would manually pop your Rage Pot just because there are a lot of fights where you want to be popping other potions, where warriors are forced to use other consumables. But if you can, if the fight allows it, you use a Rage Pot, and then that's even more damage on the opener. Now, it gets even more spicier. So if you have a pre-rage mob where you can build rage on, so I actually don't have Shield Slam on my bar here. It's kind of my bad. So let's say you have a pre-rage mob here, right? You build up rage, you use Shield Slam to gain the attack power bonus. You wait a few seconds before the fight starts. Then you go in, pop all your cooldowns with your next Shield Slam, and your next Shield Slam will hit really, really hard because you have your defensive resolve in combination with Rampage, and you're also popping Recklessness. Now, when you use Recklessness as a tank, you must tell your healers. Your healers must be aware that you're opening up with Recklessness because you do take an extra 20% more damage when you do use Recklessness. So that's pretty much all I got for this video. If you have any questions about Prot or about warriors or my Weakauras or my macros, just leave them in the comments or feel free to message me in the game and I'll be more than happy to answer. But that's it. That's all. Bye-bye.